Shalom. All praises to the Most High. All praises to His holy name. You know, the Most High is wonderful. And He knows what He's talking about because He is the Almighty. He is the Creator. Only reason I'm going to mention Elder Ayul's name because he's emphatic that he is the last prophet. Whether he is or whether he's not, what is that of your business? Well, if we are working for the Most High, what is our business? If Elder Ayul is the last prophet and the rest of it is not, what does that got to do with us? But we all supposed to be on the same team. That's why I don't sit around talking about whether I'm this prophet or that prophet. I just tell you the things that the Most High has done in my life has shown that I am somebody in His body. Because I wasn't looking to do none of these things. That wasn't my goal in life. I was led into it. And it's really obvious that as I read a lot of things in these books, I've already done them. And you can't deny it. So what is the best thing that you can do? Just for consideration. Do the work that you called to do. That's the only thing that's going to matter. Whether you did your work. But at the same time, when everybody says something, I study to show myself approved to see if what they're saying is true. That's what the scripture told me to do. It ain't like I'm trying to hate on them. But if you say some things that the scripture ain't saying, then I got a problem with that. That's whoever it is. That's why I try to give you line up on line, precept on precept. And even on that, I say, Father, did I interpret it wrong? Because I don't want to be lying to the people. But if I give you line by line, precept on precept, and then whatever the conclusion is after that, I don't know what other conclusion I can draw from. If that's in the scriptures. So, Father, forgive me, but I'm going by the procedures that you instructed me to go by to bring forth your word. Line upon line, precept on precept, here a little, there a little, from different books. That's where he hid all information in his different books. So you can't be confounded, because if they try to go to one book and change that, he'll have information in another book to show you information that should have been there. That's how the Most High do. So I'm not worrying about being a last prophet or anything. I'm just trying to worry about being the prophet He called me to be. Because at the end of the day, He's gonna ask you, did you complete the work I gave you to do? You're not gonna worry about what Elder Ayul or somebody else is doing. That's their work. But at the same time, I'm gonna study to show myself approved and see if the things those prophets be saying are true. If they're not, then I'm gonna speak on it. Well, let's get started. We're going to see what Joseph of Egypt left behind to show that we are who we say we are. And he left a lot behind. Matter of fact, these American Israelites, our whole lives is structured after Joseph. But there's some good news. Joseph ended up being king. Because Pharaoh said the only thing that separates me and you is the title. And you can't have my wife. Other than that, you running the show, Joseph. And Joseph was right. He didn't want his wife. So I'm content in being who I'm called to be. And I'm going to do the best me. Let's go to sealed portion, and I'm gonna read a little bit about Joseph Smith and dispel the rumors that he's a European. All you gotta do is listen to words. I'm gonna start at the sealed portion, chapter 82, verse 47. And now, Satan gladly desires that all people worship him according to the dictates of their own conscience. But there arises a religion or a thought that is contrary to his plan, or that supported the plan of the Father, that he inspired those over whom he has power. So he's telling you right there, Satan don't have power over all of us. He only has power over those he has power in his domain. The ones that give him power through their own conscience, willingly. But if there arises a religion or a thought that is contrary to his plan, or that supported the plan of the Father, then he inspired those over whom he has power. It causes them to persecute and destroy those who do not want to follow his plan. So that's the difference between Satan and the Father. The Father tells you, you can worship me or not. But guess what? If you choose not, when I come in my wrath and you don't have no covering called mercy, that they call Yahawah or Jesus Christ in today's terms, then when my justice comes, you don't have no covering. And you're going to receive all of my fury. People say the Old Testament God is vengeful. Well, without Messiah covering you, you're going to find the Old Testament God coming to visit you. And it shall come to pass that all of the other religions that shall be set up in the United States shall be protected by the principles of this nation. But the Church of Yahawah, which should be established by Joseph, shall not be protected, but shall be persecuted and destroyed. See, it's telling you what happened to Joseph Smith's church. Somebody else infiltrated and took that title, but without the same doctrine. They put Satan's plan in it. And thus it shall come to pass to any church or people who make an attempt to usurp the power of Satan and cause commotion in his kingdom. And thus it shall come to pass to any church or people who make an attempt to usurp the power of Satan and cause commotion in his kingdom. And Joseph shall be under a strict command of Yahweh, that he shall not reveal unto the world all of the. We talking about Joseph Smith right now. We haven't gotten to Joseph of Egypt yet. And Joseph shall be under a strict command of Yahweh. He shall not reveal unto the world all of the knowledge that he shall receive from the Spirit, and also from the voice of the angels, and from the servants of the Most High that dwell among men. For much of his knowledge shall be contained in these things which are sealed. But he shall be allowed to give unto men that which they are ready to receive, and that which is expedient that they receive according to the commandments of Yahweh. For Yahweh knoweth all that which is to come to pass among the children of men. And this he does not know, except it be by the experience that the Father has shared with him of those things which have occurred many times before on other worlds like unto this one. And Yahweh gave revelation unto Joseph, so that the things that were supposed to occur in his time would come to pass. See? I don't want to sound like I'm boasting or trying to be anybody special, but all I can tell you is a lot of things that I've already told you before I even knew what I was talking about, they came to pass. And Yahweh gave revelation unto Joseph, so that the things that were supposed to occur in his time would come to pass. But of himself, Joseph thought Joseph thought that he could establish Zion and bring peace and happiness to the world by the principles of this peace and happiness which had been given by the Almighty. See, he thought he was supposed to, but that wasn't his job. Nevertheless, the Gentiles shall be wicked, and shall be so entrenched in the kingdom of Satan, that they shall not be worthy of a righteous church of the Most High among them. And it shall come to pass that Joseph shall be murdered for the sake of his word. So he's trying to tell you that the Gentiles murdered him. If Joseph was a quote-unquote European, why did they need to put that in there? Nevertheless, the Gentiles shall be wicked, and shall be so entrenched in the kingdom of Satan, that they shall not be worthy of a righteous church of the Most High among them. And it shall come to pass that Joseph shall be murdered for the sake of his word, and also because of the great wickedness of the members who belonged to the church which he shall cause to be set up among them. And he shall seal his testimony of his truthfulness, of his mission with his blood, just like Abel did. Nevertheless, the world shall hold his name in contempt, And the church which he shall cause to be established shall be overcome by Satan and led by him. So this modern day Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is ran by Satan. Am I intellectually bringing it out of my own mind, or am I reading it to you? For it shall come to pass that after his death, the church shall be divided in itself, as I've explained it unto you. And those who are in possession of more of the riches and property of this church, who have more knowledge and familiarity with the beginnings of the church, even the family of Joseph. So they know about all that. They know about his family, know about all that. Shall attempt to continue his teachings and reestablish the church once again upon the earth. But that wasn't Joseph's calling, to establish no church. And these shall know more of the truths of the history of Joseph and his teachings. Remember, they held his name in contempt. So what did the book of Maccabees say, or either the book of what was it, Ecclesiastes, the Apocrypha? Just say the Apocrypha, because I don't have the scripture in my head right now. Says that they should put their images in our books. The scripture ain't lied yet. Even their names in our books. And these shall know more of the truths of the history of Joseph and his teachings and the beginning of the church than those who refuse to follow them, who are the unlearned and meek among them. Who are the ones today that refuse to follow these books? The unlearned and meek among us. Because they say that's the white man's book. Not knowing that somebody changed things. It's the devil, Satan. And they shall separate themselves from the poor and the meek of the church, who should be the majority of those who have joined this church in the latter days. And the church that they shall establish among them shall rise up and be lost in obscurity, having not the strength and power to combat Satan and his will concerning them. And in that day, Satan shall have great power over the hearts of the rest of the people who shall be left in this church. And he shall make one of them his own leader. To let you know that I'm not adding to who they're talking about. Before I get back there, I'm going to go to the header. See portion of 82, chapter, the header. The rise and fall of the original LDS church. Joseph tries to establish a church by celestial laws, but it fails. That's because he wasn't called to establish that church. Brigham Young becomes an emissary and leader under the power of Satan. Brigham Young, it names him, so I'm not falsely accusing nobody. And this leader who shall raise up shall speak with authority and much power and flattery unto the people, and his name shall be Brigham Young. I just showed you earlier. It says Brigham. That's why I went to the header, and it says Brigham Young. Like I said, personally, I had nothing against Brigham Young. I've been reading it to you because the only thing I knew about Brigham Young was Brigham Young University when I used to watch football. That wasn't my favorite team or nothing, but I knew they had a team called Brigham Young. But the still portion tell me this Brigham Young was the one who was raised up by Satan to run that church. And this leader who shall raise up shall speak with authority and much power and flattery unto the people. And his name shall be Brigham. And he shall deceive the poor and the meek, and shall lead them into the wilderness, pretending to be an emissary of Yahweh. He's pretending. Just like the whole church today, incorporated Church of Latter-day Saints are pretending to be us. And he shall be like unto King Noah, whose only desire was to set up a kingdom for himself and bring glory to himself by the captive. See, that's what Elder Ayil got to be careful. Can't tell him what to do, but I'm just saying he would come over better if he would just be the last prophet, in my opinion. And like I said, he'll probably cuss me off for saying that, but I got the right to have an opinion. He'd probably be better off just being the last prophet other than always saying he's the last prophet. Because if you're the last prophet, you don't have to say it. The Most High will back you by his word. In my opinion, that's a title that he covets, being the last prophet, because he talks about it a lot. That's what I'm trying to say. I think he'd be better off just being the last prophet. You ain't got to always point out and let everybody be around you that basically always supporting the idea that you're the last prophet. Yeah, he's the last prophet. Anybody else saying he's not, you lying. Well, all you got to do is be it. The word will show that you're the last prophet based on what you've done that lines up with the word, and then you say, yeah, he's the last prophet. That's just my opinion. So like he'll tell me, everybody got one. He's got it behind, got a hole, a butthole, and everybody got one. Just like an opinion. So, but that's just my opinion. And like you said, I've never said I was the last prophet. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. And if anybody think I said I was the last prophet, I never said I was the last prophet. I just said that things that's in the word, I've already done it. Things in the word, Most High showed me, just like the churches being shut down. He showed me that years ago. And I testified in their churches about that he's going to shut them down. But I thought it was just the church I was going to at the time. So that's why I say our thoughts are not the Most High's thoughts. The Most High's thoughts are much more grandeur than our thoughts. We think small. But he be showing us some big things. And we in our mind, we don't really comprehend what he's really showing us until later when he actually shows us. But he allows us to testify or prophesy unto those things that shall come, that people cannot say that you didn't tell them. And they can't say that you're not a prophet. Because how else can we say things that's going to come to pass without the Most High showing us? And people are always going to agree or disagree with you. But it don't matter. They can't deny the fact that You told them about things and they came to pass that the Most High shows you. Came to that. And it shall come to pass that bring them shall lead the people to a land of wilderness, near unto the remnants of a great lake, which once covered that part of the land when the earth was in its infancy. And the remnant of this lake shall be of no worth, and shall be of salt. And the people shall cause to come forth a city that they shall call the city of Salt Lake. Verse 68. And this shall come to pass according to the mind and the will of Satan in all things. For we know it that the poor and the meek of the church of the Most High cannot read. That sounds like the slaves. They didn't allow them to read nor write. He said, all you need to bring to this mission is your back. That's what they told him, right? He knoweth that the poor and the meek of the church of the Most High cannot read, nor can they write. But they are strong in their backs. Therefore, they would need a leader to lead them and teach unto them the things of the Most High. That's when Brigham Young started pretending. And Satan knew that if he could raise up a leader among them, then he could give unto them, or he can give unto the people the blessings that he has given unto all of those who worship him. See, the sealed portion has a theme of telling you that Satan blesses those who are like-minded with him, and he causes them to think they're being blessed of the Father. All of those who worship him and follow the course of his plan. See, obviously, I'm not following the course of his plan because I'm bringing you the fullness of the gospel, and that's not his plan. And the area in which this great city shall be established shall be like unto the area that surrounded Jerusalem. He said that's very, he's telling us something right here too. In the area which this great city shall be established shall be like unto the area that surrounded Jerusalem. So they're very similar. Some people say that is Jerusalem. Behold, both being established near the borders of a sea of salt, which provided no life to the children of men. And these things shall also be according to the knowledge and purpose of Yahweh. For as the waters of the earth give it life unto the world, also shall the word of the Almighty. But the Jews and those who shall inhabit the city of Salt Lake shall not have the pure waters that flow forth from the mouth of the Most High, but the stench that cometh forth from the sea of salt, which are the precepts and commandments of men. The Most High said that's a stench. It smells in his nose. And the people of Salt Lake shall be like unto the people of Jerusalem, and shall be reminded by the stench that great Salt Lake, which is near unto their city, even that they should keep in remembrance that they do not have this pure and refreshing water that can give life unto them. See, another thing the Most High just put on my heart right now. If you do what he told you to do, you don't need a title. See, because man want to credit you or discredit you by titles or taking away your title. But if you operate without a title, doing the Most High's work, he got a crown for you. And if you're doing the Most High's work that pleases him, man has no say-so over you. Because they can't discredit you one way or the other because they can't give you a title. Not in this work. They always want to give ratings or anything. They always want to get something they can thumbs up and thumbs down, but you can't thumbs up and thumbs down this work. This ain't your work. You have no say-so in the matter. This is the Most High's work. That's why I'm trying to tell you, whoever is the last prophet, let them be the last prophet. That's their job. But you just do your work that you called to do. That's the only thing you're going to get approved for anyway. Still portion 82 and 73. And Brigham shall use his power over the people to build a temple like unto the temple at Jerusalem. But he pretended, remember? And all these things of this people will be like unto the Jews. Remember, they pretended. The Israelites. They pretended to be like the Israelites. Now, this is the will of Yahweh so that he can one day show forth his power unto them as he did unto the Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. For the great temple which shall be established among them shall be let me catch where was that? For the great temple which shall be established among them shall one day be destroyed. Like it's the temple, that's what's happening right now. This truth is destroying their temple based on pretense of pretending. The truth has arrived. Will the real Jew stand up? Israelites. And all these things shall come to pass because these people of the city of Salt Lake shall be like unto the Jews in every way. That's why the Most High said they're going to be last. Talking about the true Jews, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, because they just like those people. He said, but he's going to cause a branch to come, a fruitful branch to come forth. That's going to be first. And Brigham shall become great and glorious as the servant of Satan, and shall do whatsoever thing that he is commanded by Satan. And the city of Salt Lake shall become a great city of commerce and business. Even so much that the government of the United States, which really is a corporation, shall take notice of its greatness. And now the sole purpose of Brigham shall be a great gain and set himself up above the peoples, so that he might be worshipped by them and receive their glory. He's put himself in the place of God. Brigham was their equivalent to the Pope, who also did this, the Pope of Rome. And by the works of Brigham, Satan shall establish himself powerfully amongst those who think of themselves as the righteous saints of the Most High. Also pretended. And from his works shall rise forth one of the most powerful religions that the world has ever known. Yeah, it shall be more powerful even than the great Catholic Church that shall cover the earth during the days in between the times and the half of time. He's telling you that the Latter-day Mormon Church is greater than the Catholic Church, even richer. And though its numbers shall be few in comparison with other religions that Satan shall cause to rise up in the latter days, with his subtle ways shall Satan begin to use this church as one of the means that he has set up to perpetuate his plan and bring all men under his power and his control. Hear what it didn't say. He didn't say the books. He didn't say the information in the books. He said the church. For behold, in the last days, this church shall show forth the glory of the blessings that it has received from Satan. Am I saying it or am I reading it to you? Seal portion 82 and 80. For behold, it is in the last days, this church shall show forth the glory of the blessings that it has received from Satan by its great temples and its churches, and getting great amount of money and property which pertaineth unto it. That's what makes it greater than the Catholic Church, because it got more money. You gotta have some money to have more money than the Catholic Church. And more property. And his members shall pursue the things of the world and aspire to the honor of men. And many shall receive these honors from Satan. See, titles. This is the great Wizard of Oz, who's pretending that you ain't got a brain unless he give you a certificate or a degree. You already had a brain that the Creator gave you, Israel, but then you trying to go to the pretenders, and then they give you a certificate or a degree saying now you got a brain. And you boast it, you let everybody know it too. Oh, I'm a doctorate. Let them know I've graduated from Yale, from Harvard. Stupid. Don't you know that you operating and you boasting in the knowledge of Satan? You lifting up the knowledge of Satan above the Almighty, who already told you who you are. But you happy and you proud to say, because they say you got a brain, now you can tell them you got one because you got a certificate to prove it. If I only had a brain. We ought to see the wizard. Bring him young of us. Because. If I only had a brain. And his members shall pursue the things of the world and aspire to the honors of men. And many shall receive these honors from Satan, who they believe is their God. Nevertheless, they do not recognize their God as Satan, for he has deceived them with the riches and the power that they shall possess. And in his pride, Satan shall laugh at the Father. See, that's all those who think like Satan, they laugh at the things I'm talking about in this knowledge. That's laughing at the Father. And in his pride, Satan shall laugh at the Father, and shall also laugh at all the holy prophets who have been upon the earth, who have testified against the great wickedness that should be established in the last days among the children of men. Behold, this church shall demonstrate to all the children of the Most High that a people can seem prosperous and righteous and have peace if they follow his plan. They call that living their best life. You're going to live your best life too, and that's the last one you're going to live. Following Satan, because his plan is to kill you. And you in his domain by acceptance. You accepted to be in his domain, so that's why he gave him right to kill you. And now it shall be revealed further unto you in this record more of this great and abominable church, which will be known among you as the church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. See, this church is also part of the Catholic Church, was also called the abominable church. It's all the same thing. All ran by Europeans. Caucasians. Is this racism I'm speaking, or is it the truth? Remember, the quote-unquote Negro, or the Most High calls us Israelites, cannot be racist. Broke that down to you before. Racism is called white supremacy. European or Caucasian supremacy. That's racism. Yeah, it shall be revealed further unto you of their hypocrisy and their wickedness and their secret combinations, secret societies, Freemasons, all the way down to alphas and omegas in different ones. Some people, I got people on my Facebook page, people I've known that when I used to work with, who I've grown to love, but still, I still got to preach the word. Yeah, it shall be revealed further unto you of their hypocrisy and their wickedness, and their secret combinations, also their downfall, as the great day of Yahawah approaches. He said the downfall coming. Matter of fact, that's why they're already falling. This word has destroyed them, like he said. by the brightness of his coming. Knowledge. This is why they acting up like they acting up, because the knowledge is whooping their behind. And they can't deal with it. Despite of being a doctor from Harvard. No, I'm saying, but I could, if I wanted to, I could put a few accolades up there, but I'm just an Israelite from South Central. Can anything good come out of South Central? Paul put it this way. He said, I was a Pharisee of Pharisees. I had degrees and all kind of stuff. But I called it all dung for the excellency of the knowledge of the Most High. And I've explained many things regarding this church unto you in this record. For this church have the record of my Father among them. But they should be like unto the Jews of old, who hold the records of all the holy prophets. Yet they did not read them, nor did they. They got all the records, they didn't read them. That was on purpose. Most High did it on purpose. So they can give it to the true prophets that we can read. I noticed the word. I was listening to Elder Ayil, and he said there's only one prophet at a time, and the word is true and every man a liar. So I'm not trying to call the word a lie. All I can tell you is the Most High has shown me things as far as the church has been closed down. He showed me gang stalking before gang stalking was really known like that. And I testified by all these things. And they came to pass. I didn't know to call it gang stalking, but he showed me how when he closed down the churches, I saw the world in chaos. I saw everybody doing weird and wicked things in the earth. He showed it to me, and I testified about it. This is before it really started happening on that level. Am I trying to pump myself up? No, I'm just trying to tell you what is true. Show me other things too. See a portion, 82, verse 85. And I've explained many things regarding this church unto you in this record. For this church will have the record of my Father among them. But they shall be like unto Judah, Benjamin, and Levi of old, who had the records of all the holy prophets. That's why the Most High said, do what they read to you, what they say, but don't do what they do. You actually read it for yourself. Because they had all this information, but they never read no scriptures. They were just telling you stuff out their mind to keep them in power. But they should be like unto the Jews of old, who had the records of all the holy prophets, yet they did not read them, nor did they understand them. That's why they send them to the European boys on the bikes, come to your house, bringing you the Book of Mormon, talking about they elders. And get offended if you don't call them elders. Boy, you better go sit your butt down somewhere. But I'll take the book, though. Wish I was smart enough to do that the first time, and the second time. I wasn't that smart to do that. Because I was indoctrinated with Christianity. So the Most High had to wash me. and deliver me and bring me out. Then I was able to get the book. But I'm still a little bit hurt behind that, man. They gave me a nice one, man. They gave me a Book of Mormon. It was a big, thick one, man. I'm quite sure that's some information in there, boy. I wish I could have read, but it wasn't. I guess it wasn't meant. But he still woke me up, though, so I praise the Most High for that. And the Father shall use this church and its greatness and its glory and its money and the deception of its people to allow this record to be given unto all the earth. See, he told you these records that they have really belong to the Israelites, that they didn't read nor understand. See, the Father showed you that they kept them in their possessions only to give them to us, the true prophets. Still portion 82 and 86. And the Father shall use this church and its greatness and its glory and its money. See, Most High said, I'll make it rich, I'll make it poor. He can cause those who have money or glory or whatever they got in their possessions to give it to his children. And that's what he said he's going to do. And the Father shall use this church and its greatness and its glory and its money and the deception of his people. Coming to you on little bicycles with little boys talking about their elders. He said the Most High calls that. To give the books to the true prophets. And the Father shall use this church and its greatness and its glory and its money and the deception of its people to allow this record to be given unto all the earth. For these people shall believe that they are the only righteous children of the Most High upon the earth. But they pretended. And they only deceived themselves. And that a man cannot be saved unless he joined their church. That's what all of the churches tell you. Whether they say it straight out right or they hint towards it. Man, you know we got the truth. Can't be saved outside of us. Even Israelites do that. We got the 100% truth. And then tell you that you don't need to get baptized. Stop lying. And that a man cannot be saved unless he joined their church and receiveth the ordinance that its leaders have prescribed for the salvation of the people. And because of this pride, many people shall carry the record of my people. And because of this pride, many people shall carry the record of my people to others upon the earth. He's telling you these are his records. The Book of Mormon, sealed portion, the Books of Remembrance, and the Bible, and all these books is his record. But what did Esau do? He put his images in the law. That's why the Most High said he knew they was going to do that. That's why he said unto the faithful, I give you line upon line, precept on precept, here a little, there a little, that you will still come to the truth, despite of their deception. Most High said, yeah, I created some intelligent beings, but guess what? I'm more intelligent than them all. You can't outwit the Most High. How you going to outwit somebody who knows your every move before you even get on the earth? Your every thought. because of his pride, many people shall carry the record of my people to others upon the earth who are the elect. See? And because of this pride, many, we'll just tell it like it is, Mormons of the Latter-day Saint Church who are pretenders, I'm just saying what's in the book. Many pretenders from the Latter-day Saint Church of Jesus Christ shall carry the record of my people to others upon the earth who are the elect of the Most High, Israelites, and are searching for the truth of the Most High in all things. Another verification that these books are ours. And these shall join this church, but shall come to know that its works are evil. And then they shall depart from it. That's what's going on. Whether it's the Mormon church or the Christian church, whether you call it a non-denominational or none, it's all the same. This truth is waking you up to know that you're in the wrong church. And that them churches are evil. That's why there's a decline in membership or even attendance in churches. Except for those who are enchained, the Satanists are enchained under darkness, thinking that they got the light. And then they'll get offended in you if you give them the truth. And they'll say stuff like, when did you change your religion? I ain't never changed my religion. The Most High changed my mind. Put on this mind that was also in the true Messiah. Once you get that mind, then you can't stay in that church. See, don't be distracted by the enemy. Most High gave a message yesterday. He said if some people are called for destruction, and that's their calling. Just continue to do your job for the Most High. He already said that they got fired or they no longer. Only thing you look forward to is destruction. Most High created them to be destroyed. So when they don't change from their evil ways, don't let that distract you. Most High has spoken. They've been judged to eternal damnation. That's what they got to look for. So don't let them distract you. You just do your job for the Most High. Seal portion 82 and 88. And because of this pride, many people shall carry the record of my people to others upon the earth who are the elect of the Most High and are searching for the truth of the Most High in all things. And these shall join this church, but shall come to know that its works are evil. And then they shall depart from it. Nevertheless, they shall take with them the record of my fathers, which Joseph was commanded to bring forth unto them. That was Joseph's job. And after they have received the testimony of the things that are written in the part of the record, which is not sealed, talking about the Book of Mormon, the Bible, then shall their hearts and minds be ready to receive these things, which are sealed. But if you don't read the Bible or the Book of Mormon, you can't set your mind to be ready for what is sealed. Because you ain't read what's unsealed. You didn't even appreciate the first part of the word. So my son said, I ain't gonna give you the fullness of the gospel. You don't even accept the least of the gospel. You don't even read them. You just like the Pharisees and stuff that don't even read the book. You got it, but you don't read them. But you'll tell you, and I got this from my brother, one of my brothers from that I used to work with, although I'm not a part of Alpha and Omegas and none of that kind of stuff, but That's why I got the term. If he listening, he know he used to say that. Mama and them. You listening to Mama and them. Mama and them ain't read one book, one Bible. Nigga down the street and them, they ain't read nothing. But yet still, you'll take what they say over this word. Seal portion 82 and 90. And after that, they received the testimony of the things that are written in the part of the record which is not sealed. Then shall their hearts and minds be ready to receive these things, which are sealed, and have been preserved for them who are elect. See, it's all about the elect. That's what the Most High is concerned about. Even those who shall have the name of Yahweh written in their hearts and in their foreheads. That's who the Most High is concerned about. That's who we're concerned about saving. And they shall know that the things revealed unto them are true, because they testified of the wickedness of the world and the great corruption of the children of men as they live by the plan of Lucifer. But these things which have been sealed up shall come forth and give unto them a better understanding of the plan of the Father that they did not consider. And if they are elect and do not belong to the church of the devil, then they shall be received by the Father into the church of the Lamb. Not made with hands, by the way. And therein they shall find the peace and the happiness and the righteousness that they have desired all the days of their lives. All praise to the Most High. Now I'm going to go to, as it says, this is also part of called the sealed portion, the books of remembrance. Read a little bit more about Joseph of Egypt, our ancestor. The Joseph that started it all. First Aki 3 and 71. Now Israel bestowed names upon his sons. They were from the beginning the element of righteousness. And he knew the vision of Joseph. Now this is not Joseph Smith. This is our ancestor who started it all, the original Joseph. And Joseph, because of his vision, was dear unto the heart of Israel. And because he was the son of his rib, Israel had a coat of many colors prepared for Joseph. And he used him and his coat as the element of righteousness to declare his covenant. Thus Joseph represented to Israel a surety that Messiah, who held him as grandfather, would come in the flesh. So what he just told us, this coat of many colors represented Messiah would come in the flesh. So all of these colors of this coat represents the many representations of brown. The copper colored people in their various formations. We already found out that our first ancestor, Adam, and his children were the first indigenous people wherever they found themselves when they left America. That's the Book of Remembrance of our ancient grandmothers, chapter 1, verse 99 to about 108. It also mentions racism was used on them back then. Read it again so you can see what he means by the coat of many colors. Now Israel bestowed names upon his sons. They were from the beginning the element of righteousness. And he knew the vision of Joseph. And Joseph, because his vision was dear unto the heart of Israel, and because he was the son of his rib, Israel had a coat of many colors prepared for Joseph. And he used him in his coat as the element of righteousness to declare his covenant. See, this covenant is, the coat of many colors is the element of righteousness that declares his covenant to these many colored people. Thus Joseph represented to Israel a surety that Messiah, who held him as grandfather, would come in the flesh among his people. See? His people. So you ain't being no other nationality other than what comes from him, his people. To give them abundant life as the living water. And Israel placed the coat upon Joseph and sounded the trump. And the Ergadashah drew near, and Israel declared with the strength of his heart, with tears, that Joseph, notice at the bottom, Joseph means to add to, augment, make full. Adam used Maccabi. Or Mabuchi. See Strong's 3130 and 3254. Would be the element of righteousness that the fourth gift, the living water of Messiah to his father, would be the foundation of the law, so that you by Messiah have life. See, Joseph's legacy is that his descendants would bring life through the living water, which is the word, the fullness of the gospel. That the fourth gift, the living water of Messiah to his father, would be the foundation of the law, so that you would be by Messiah have life and have it more abundantly. He declared to all the Ergadashah that the living water would be always a part of the fabric of creation in your behalf, and it was so. Now, after Joseph was thus used to call forth the abundant life that comes from the law of virtue, Israel sounded the trump for the fifth time to summon all the Ergadashah, and he used Issachar. Notice the bottom, Issachar means he will bring a treasure. Adam used Seth. Strong's 34 and 85. So would by Messiah have life and have it more abundantly. And he declared to all the Ergadashah that the living water would be always a part of the fabric of creation in your behalf, and it was so. Now, after Joseph was thus used to call forth the abundant life that comes from the law of virtue, Israel sounded the trump for the fifth time to summon all the Ergadashah, and he used Issachar as the element of righteousness to establish that the fifth atonement Messiah gave to his father will result in the law of virtue bringing forgiveness of sins to you by repentance for the remission of sins. And he declared before all the Ergadashah that the forgiving grace of Messiah would be built into all the fabric of creation, and it was so. And it came to pass that Israel blew the trump of summons for a sixth time and used Judah. Notice at the bottom, Judah, the open hand. There is the means to accomplish something. Adam used Elah. See Strong's 3063 and 3034 and 3027. To establish that the sixth gift power of Messiah for his father would bring the law of virtue for it. The law of power, the law of virtue, the sixth gift was power brought by Judah. Judah brings the power. Joseph brings the living water. That's why he combined them together in our time. The Bible and the Book of Mormon, the sealed portion, basically, contains both, which brings forth the prophecy when they become one stick. And it came to pass, Israel blew the trump of summons for the sixth time and used Judah as the element of righteousness to establish that the sixth gift power of Messiah for his father would bring the law of virtue for it. So you can be loved by the Father in spite of your sin and by your keeping the law. The Most High would be justified in loving you thus and asked all the Ekadashah that they would always call you into remembrance before the Most High, so that you would always be found to have the means of receiving the love of the Most High. And it was so. And Israel took the lad Benjamin, and he stood him forth, and he put a reed scepter in his hand, and he sounded the trump for the seventh time and called forth the Ekadashah to use his son Benjamin. Benjamin means son of the right hand or glory hand. Adam used Edra. See Strong's 1144. Used his son Benjamin as the element of righteousness, and his mother was not there to see him, and Israel wept. Note at the bottom, according to the Bible, Israel blamed himself for the death of Rachel when she died at the birth of Benjamin, because he inadvertently had cursed her unto death when he had stolen the idols of her father. See Genesis 31, 17 through 36. And he established that the law, so that's why the Most High don't want us to be dealing with idols and all these things, man, because you don't know what you're dealing with. It can bring curses upon you. And he established that the law of virtue would be among all the fabric in creation, so that the seventh gift, glory, of Messiah to his father would cause you would, by keeping the law of virtue, always find yourself in such a state. The law of virtue is basically the 10 Commandments, or the commandments. But the Most High told you the law of virtue truly, he said, I'll give you a new commandment. To love the Most High with all you got, mind, body, soul, and to love your brother and as yourself. That the Almighty could reveal himself to you according to your need, and the Ekadashah agreed to do so. And Israel sounded the trump to the Ekadashah for the 8th time. And he called Joseph to once again step forward as the element of righteousness before Yahweh, and he stood before the altar. And Israel declared to all the Ekadashah that the 8th gift, the resurrection of Messiah to his father, would be upheld by the establishment of the law of virtue, so that Messiah could bring you forth from the dead. This is also part of, see, Joseph got a double portion. See, that's why Most High brought us first. We the anchor leg. We the ones we're resurrecting you with the truth. It's undeniable. Why? The proof is in the pudding. Who's doing the work? Just bringing this truth. Like it tells them. When I say I'm not just talking about me, but others are doing it. But I'm saying, but why am I doing this? I didn't just wake up one day and say, well, you know what? I'm going to start doing. I'm going to bring some truth from the gospel on this level. Most High said, this is his work. And Israel sounded the trump. Well, if you've been following the teachings that the Most High allowed me to bring forth, he's shown you in the scripture that this is his work he's doing through us. That's why we can't be confounded. Told you, boy, I just hear spirits and I cast them down because he just told you they don't even read the Bible. They don't know even what's in the book, but they always comment. You know how I listen to people. They're already damned. Because they won't listen. They don't even read the book. How they going to tell somebody about the Bible? They listen to mama and them and nigga down the street now. A nigga on the phone in it. And the wigger on the phone with them. Then the wigger on the phone with them talking to the nigga on the phone with them. If you know about the Wiggamore party, you know what I'm talking about. Europeans. And Israel signed the trump to the Ergadashah for the 8th time. He called Joseph to once again step forward as the element of righteousness before Yahweh. And he stood before the altar, and Israel declared to all their Ergadashah that the 8th gift, the resurrection of Messiah to his father, so that Messiah could bring forth from the dead to stand before the Most High. That you also could be renewed in this life by forgiveness and find the happiness of forgetting sin and affliction and become whole before him in purity of renewal. He decreed that the newness of the life of the Almighty would be built into the fabric of all creation, and it was so. See, we're telling you the truth through our ancient knowledge. So just because a European tell a nigga that you wrong, the European is already wrong. He don't know what he's talking about. They don't even read the books. They got them. They don't read them. He just told you. And then when they read them, they don't understand them. So why are you listening to a European and that gave that information to a nigga that believes the European, the wicked? When the prophets are sitting right here in front of you, prophesying. Line upon line, precept on precept. Here a little, there a little. And in this thing, Joseph was again the element of righteousness. And when he was discovered alive, it was like unto a resurrection unto his father. Now it came to pass, Israel used Joseph 2 times before the altar. It would not suffer Dan to step forward. And because of the element of righteousness, and as Israel had beheld that Dan would choose the line vision of summarily. Dan represents all you niggas that won't believe that y'all Israel. As Israel had beheld that Dan would choose the line vision of summarily. I don't want to go there. Let's see. Go to the line vision of him somehow. This is when he changed the image. Satan changed the true image. We gotta get there first. I'm gonna get there. Hold on. Trying to lose my place but at the same time. Satan changes the image of God, Son of God. First Aki 12. This is the line image that you religious people believe. It's going to the churches, including y'all niggas. I said that intentionally because you don't want to believe that you Israelites, so you want to be a nigga. You want to be black, colored, African American. You won't be that. So you believe this lie. That I'm gonna read it for you. Aki 12, and I'm in the bottom of verse 40 going down. What is this awful scene? Why must I endure to behold it? He said that vision that you're accepting that Jesus Christ is a European, that's an awful scene. He said, why I got to endure to behold that? And the vision stayed before him, and Yahweh said, do you not need to see the people unto whom your record will be revealed? Talking about us. And Aki said, yeah, Yahweh, but the vision is hard for me to look at this European man talking about he's our Messiah. And Yahweh said, what is it that you see? And Aki said, the generation of the terrible. He said, that's a terrible generation to believe that lie. And Aki, strong man of the Almighty, beheld that the full extent of the tragedy of it before his face. He said, this is a tragedy. I remember one time I used to joke with my oldest daughter. It was this one, like a show used to come on. He was like, and it was a Caucasian man. He said, damn travesty. And Aki, strong man of the Almighty, beheld the full extent of the tragedy of it before the face of Yahweh. He was moved upon clear to the center of his bones. And he saw that the commencing with the impostor of Antioch. Same, just like Brigham Young, pretender. But this pretender was an impostor from Antioch. When they first started calling him nigger. The wicked replaced the vision of the purpose of Messiah with the vision that Summarily had chosen for himself. The image. Summarily is another name for Satan or the devil. Or another name for Esau. And it came to pass that in this way they prayed to Summarily and called him the Son of God. Note at the bottom, Dead Sea Scrolls by Wise, Abeg, and Cook. Page 169, this reading is a description in the Dead Sea Scrolls of the same statement. And he saw that Messiah would be in this way unknown to all the people of the nations except the righteous. See, everybody think Messiah is Caesar Borgia, a European man with blonde hair. He said this is a tragedy. unknown to all the people of the nations except the righteous, and Summarily would be in his place. Who's in the place of the Messiah? Summarily. So what picture do you got? Caesar Borgia, a European man, the Pope's son. One of their popes' sons from Rome. That's the tragedy. In the doings and practices of the multitudes of the world, that's called religion, whatever church you belong to. And their terrible acts that are inspired by Summarily will be said to be done in the name of Messiah. Yeah, even this lowly meteorite who was a son of the morning will call himself the Most High, a higher, as read in the books of remembrance, or what is that? The Sealed Book of Mormon, chapter 3, verse 1 through about 8, called himself a higher. And placed his throne in the heights of the name of God. Out of all the nations of God, he placed his throne in the heights of, that's why the Most High said his word is above his own name. Satan can't get no higher than his word. No matter how Satan try to adopt his names or steal his names or his titles. You can't, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not in the title. It's in the anointing. It's in the gift. And it will manifest itself to prove whether you are the champion or a pretender. You ain't got to worry about being a title of proving who you are. The Most High's work will prove who you are. And place his throne in the heights of the name of the Most High. And in this way, great evils were brought into the family of man. And Aki said, "Oh my Yahawah, my power. How can such a thing be in the midst of your creation?" How can the Europeans be in the midst of your creation? How can Esau be there? How can such a thing be in the midst of your creation? And he saw the wicked plundering and destroying and murdering in the name of God, who was the one who was filled only with loving kindness. And the poor and the righteous of the earth were swept before them all in all the regions of the earth. And Yahweh said, "Behold, when the vision of my son was changed, when his image was changed, and the false vision or image worshipped," what that white European man called Caesar Borgia that they tried to say was Jesus. "It has become the formation of a great and abominable religion." We just read that the Brigham Young was part of the great abominable church. And the Roman Catholic Pope was part of the other false vision who created the white, quote unquote, Caesar Borgia, talking about he Jesus. All this is the abomination, the abominable religion with the false image. If you're offended, well, all I can do is, my job is to break it down for you like it is. I'm not here to sugarcoat it. It has become the formation of a great and abominable religions for these wicked, by means of a religion in the vision of Summarily or Esau, have given their power to him. And they magnify his kingdom daily until it has grown to be what you see before you. And during this time, Aki beheld nations trampling nation. And there was the violence of warfare among all the people of the earth. He showed me this too in a vision. And I prophesied about it. Testified about it. in their church. And there were wars that encompassed the entire earth. And it came to pass that Summarily gained a place of high standing among men by the lying vision that he gave unto Messiah by the hand of the impostor and the other false prophets. Seal portion 88 and 45. And the false prophet is all of the organized religions upon the earth that have been organized by the hand of a man. That's what the Most High said, his church is not made with hands. Seal portion 88 and 45. And the false prophet is all of the organized religions upon all the face of the earth that have been organized by the hand of man, that they might subject the souls of the children of the Most High to their pretended precepts and commandments, which do not create peace and happiness, but strife and misery among all nations of the earth. That's the lying vision created by Esau, the devil. Go back to 1 Aki 3 and 76. No, I don't want to go back there. I want to, for the sake of time. Well, so let's go 76. Now it came to pass, Israel used Joseph 2 times before the altar, and would not suffer Dan to step forward and become the element of righteousness. As Israel had beheld that Dan would choose the lying vision of Summarily and be likened to a poisonous serpent. Most High gave me a dream about that. Before this so-called gang stalking, right before it really was happening, around that time, in about 2017, the Most High gave me a dream. I had a bunch of Dans around me who believed in the lying vision, who was the people of the church, the beast, the false prophets. And in this dream, he showed me a pit full of entwined serpents. But I was in my dream, I was already above him when the Most High was talking to him. I'll put it in the terms he speaks to his people, his prophets. He said, "Son of man." And he showed me the vision of all the serpents intertwined with no water, but just a pool full of snakes intertwined. And as I was looking, he said, "Don't get too close to him because one of them might try to bite you." So as soon as he said that, one jumped up and tried to bite me, but I was too high above him. As I'm reading this, it telling me this, I was around a bunch of Danites. And would not suffer Dan to step forward and become the element of righteousness. As Israel had beheld that Dan would choose the lying vision of Summarily. See, he had to choose it. Summarily can't just put his lying vision on you. You got to choose it. And be likened to a poisonous serpent. at the bottom said Dan, to judge. See Strong's 1835. Wherefore, because of the song of Eve, the altar could only be used in relation to Yahweh having all things according to his will. And it was likened unto a mild and harmless serpent. And it was Dan who conspired to kill Joseph. Told you. He just revealed who these black Danites calling themselves pastors and preachers and bishops. They're the ones sending these serpents at thee. I'm prophesying through the word. And it was Dan who conspired to kill Joseph. He was the one who had killed the kid and soaked the coat in blood to be taken to their father. See, they inspired to try to kill Joseph. And then they liars too. Then they're gonna pretend that's like the murderer show up at the funeral like he ain't did nothing. That's wicked. And it was in this way. And you know, Dan was one of their brothers, right? That's real wicked. Have no consideration for his elderly father or dad or father. And gonna kill his brother. That's the plot. And then gonna show up with his father who is almost dead behind his grief, and then pretend like he ain't got nothing to do with it. That's wicked. It was in this way that the vengeance of Dan was indeed like unto a poisonous serpent. And you know I ain't lying. I told you about the dream. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not pretending to be nobody. I'm just being myself, and the Most High's work is manifesting to show you I am who I say I am, which is someone that's going to bring you his word in truth. I'm not worried about being the last prophet or none of that. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. The Most High word is backing that I'm the real thing. And it was in this way that the vengeance of Dan was indeed like unto a poisonous serpent. For all his doings caused death in the family of Israel. And much grieving, and Israel grieved many long years because of the doings of this man Dan. But the doings of Yahweh are profound. So I just got to tell you. And Joseph stood in this case in behalf of a son he would yet have, whose name would be Manasseh. Note at the bottom, Manasseh causing to forget, to remove, death, thus the resurrection. Adam using the fathers. See Strong's 45:19 and 53:82. In which name is the element of righteousness. See, that's why Dan is not mentioned among the 144,000 high priests in the book of Revelation, chapter 7. That's why your pastors, priests, and bishops and all them are not mentioned in the book either. Because they Danites. by the spirit, serpents, snakes, can't be trusted. And it came to pass that Israel sounded the trump for the 9th time to summon all the Ekadasha and use Levi. Note the Bible, Levi to attach, be intertwined with the Almighty. Adam used Micah, see Strong's 3878 and 3867 as the element of righteousness, to call forth and establish the law of virtue, so that you could benefit from the 9th gift, bread of life, of Messiah to his Father, and be attached in your soul unto all the living. And thus Messiah, by the law, gave to you the bread of life, or that is to say, the body of the Messiah in all elements, to be a holy banquet before Messiah, before the Most High. And the Ekadasha agreed to do so. See, even the Ekadasha got to agree. Everybody got to agree. The Most High don't make you do nothing. That's why Satan can't make you do nothing. You got to agree. He can't take nothing from you unless you agree. If you don't agree, he got to give it back 4 times what he's taking. The Most High said you ain't got to forgive him either. After the 4th time of his intrusions. And he's far past the 4th time, so you ain't got to forgive him. And Israel sounded the trump yet again the 10th time, to use Reuben. At the bottom, Reuben, you see a son. You see a builder of the family. Adam used Chatan. See Strong 7205 and 1121. As the element of righteousness to call forth and establish the 10th gift, family, of Messiah to his Father. Told you this is a family affair. That's what the 1,000-year reign is all about. The elect of the family having a 1,000-year, what's it called? Reunion. From Adam all the way down to our time, who are righteous. That you, by keeping the law of virtue, could always be a part of the family of the Most High. Because that's the time he said, from now that this kingdom is here until that time, this is the beginning of reigning over your oppressor. That's what the kingdom of God is. And he implored the Ekadasha to write the law of virtue unto all things, so that you would stand in kinship. Let's see what the term kinship means. Kinship. Now, Kin from kin plus ship. Relationship covers the same sense, but is a hybrid. Let's see what else. Patrilineal, adjective. Of a lineage, kinship, etc., traced through a descendant from the father. Patri, word forming element used in terms of describing kinship of the father or the paternal line. Consanguinity, consanguinity, noun, kinship by common descent. Kith, noun, Middle English kith, people, race, kinsman, family. Also homeland, native region, kinship, relationship, knowledge, news. Knowledge and news. Propriety, custom. Kinship, relationship, kinfolk, fellow countrymen, neighbors, native, see? That's what even natives mean, neighbors mean. Native country, home, knowledge. My people destroy for lack of the knowledge that I'm talking only to my kinfolk. But you trying to include everybody else. You trying to save everybody else except yourself. You love everybody except yourself. That's the knowledge you like. I ain't say you got to hate nobody. It's not a sin. It's a sin not to love yourself. That's what they love your brother as yourself. That's what he's talking about. That's the knowledge you lacking. And he implored the Erekadasha to write the law of virtue unto all things so that you would stand in kinship before the Almighty in heaven. And it was according to his word. Don't you know the Almighty is an Israelite? That's why he's I'm going to use the term, the God of Israel. He's the God of his family. He's the head. And Israel sounded the trump for the 11th time to herald the 11th gift to endure of Messiah to his father, which is for him to be with you in your struggles. Thus he used Naphtali. Know at the bottom, Naphtali to struggle, wrestle. Adam used Yoko, Strong's 53 and 21, as the element of righteousness to establish the law of virtue in all things so that you would always prosper in your family and be victorious in your struggles and find peace in the law of virtue and the refuge and perfection of the way. And he requested that the Erekadasha build into all things the success of your life struggles while you're keeping the law of virtue. And Israel sounded the trump for the last time for the 12th gift, Zion. Messiah gave to his father so that by the law of virtue you could dwell with the Almighty in community. And the holy city could be your resting place. He decreed forever that by his people keeping the law, they would dwell with the Almighty, the Father. And it was so. Thus he used Zabulon, note at the bottom, habitation. Adam used the youngest son, Erekadash. See Strong 20 and 74. As the element of righteousness before the altar of Yahweh, to call forth Zion among his people by the power of the law, which Zion was called Mawin in the days of Adam. So when you hear reading out of this book and talking about Maween, that's actually another name for Zion in the days of Adam. And it came to pass that all these things were done before the altar that was at the rock of witness, upon which Israel had poured the oil. And his sons did know that which he had just done, did not know that what he had just done. For he had taken Jerusalem, the 12 gifts of the Messiah gave to his father, which are the foundations of the law of the Most High. See, all these foundations of the law comes out of the gifts that came from each son. That's why it's called the 12 tribes of Israel, the law. And he established the law for his people forever. But you trying to say Israel is conformed of all kind of people. Stop lying. He established the law for his people forever. For it had been given to all mankind in the days of Adam, was now given unto his people to prepare them to have Messiah, that he would in all course of time be born among them. All course of time. He ain't never changed. The family of Israel ain't never changed. It's still the same. Y'all believe in the line vision of Esau. Thus we see that without these gifts, and without the law which undergirds Messiah, he could not have been born among men unto a nation, unless they were sufficiently virtuous in as much as he, the son of the Father, could live out the vision of his created purpose among them. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Stop trying to live out the vision of somebody else, but live out the vision of your purpose. That's what pleases him. That's why I really don't like to see people trying to pretend to be somebody else. Nobody can be you but you. Nobody can be you but you. For without the law of virtue, there would have been no one to keep the law of the king and support him to live out his life without sin. But similarly, without confronting a false law. Today is called the color of law. He could not have descended below all things and offered his life as the son of the power in behalf of the wicked. For a heathen nation would not have used him as the element of righteousness. So it was by Messiah that the law came. And it was by Messiah that Jerusalem now applied unto the righteous nation that sprang forth from this man Israel. He said, Jacob was the man who became Israel, and the righteous nation came from Israel. Those who are called by his name, who was repentant, enters the straight gate, and now they're in Messiah. Now they're righteous. Now they're Israel. And it was Israel that brought the law unto the children of his nation by the doings of his hands in righteousness. Note at the bottom, the law actually came by Moses, but it was because of Israel's righteousness. So what that tell you? We also kin to Moses. And it came to pass that Aki beheld that after these things the son of Israel disputed, as to whom among them should be the greatest. Same thing going on now. I'm the last prophet. Insomuch as some of them polluted these works of righteousness. So I'm trying to tell you, stop worrying about being the last prophet and be it. As to whom them should be the greatest, and so much as some of them polluted these works of righteousness before Yahweh all their days, trying to be the greatest. Just do the work that you called. And the effect of it was that the power of the righteousness of their father in their behalf was greatly diminished, because they weren't about who's the last prophet, who's the greatest. Insomuch that they were obliged to go into slavery in a far country, which thing was not part of their vision of created purpose. For had they been righteous and upright before Yahweh in all their doings, no such thing would have transpired among them. And their disobedience was so severe that when they did receive the law, it was a false law, which brought them violence and sorrow in place of peace and tranquility. But you shall see that the real law of virtue was called forth in their midst, as a few generations before the birth of Messiah. And there was a holy community that has willing to keep the law of virtue and walk in perfection away. And they came indeed to walk with and support Messiah when he came in the flesh. Now, what flesh he came in? The flesh of his people, the copper-colored people. He didn't come here clear. Now, a man drawn out of the water had been sent to deliver Israel out of slavery. Now, a man drawn out of the water had been sent to deliver Israel out of slavery and establish the law of virtue among them, but they would not. I read to you tonight, sealed portion, chapter 27, verse about 81 or so in the book. He said, the prophet that's teaching you that can't make you be free. Some people say they can lead you to the water, but can't make you drink. He said, but if you're willing to be free, you are free. And it came to pass that they rejected him. And his own family supported the people. And they're casting him out from among them. And this man who was to deliver them departed his way. And the people of Israel chose for themselves a law that sprang forth from the nation of the descendants of those who remained from the great tower. And after many generations and much bloodshed, one called Gokerham I came and established the law of virtue in the domain of Jerusalem. And thus when Messiah came, the people were prepared and Messiah was victorious by their hand. Now, because of this man Israel, the hills knew the feet of the Most High. And Israel was a brother to the hills. These are all holy watcher communities. And Israel gave Messiah a new name. Remember, Messiah is the many named one. And Israel gave Messiah a new name, and it was the Prince of Peace. And Aki beheld that the false law did not bring peace during the entire course of the earth. And Israel established the meaning of virtue among the people and families. And Yahweh said unto Aki, you will see that because of this man, I am able to be before my Father and in behalf of all men, the definition of all humans of virtue for all eternity. That's a word they put in there, human. And that the virtue that I accomplished during my walk in the flesh by my keeping the law. And that the virtue that I accomplished during my walk in the flesh, that's what Messiah said, by my keeping the law, will be the standard of virtue against which all men will be judged. And you got some people telling you ain't got to keep the law. They trying to kill you. And there is much yet to be revealed unto you regarding this matter. Now it came to pass that Yahweh opened up to Aki the rest of the 24 high priest communities. And the vision is long, but this is an account of it. For I too beheld it all before the Urim. And it came to pass that Aki looked again, and he saw that Dan was angered, for he was a man of great temper. And he interpreted the worship of Israel before the altar of Yahweh. He interpreted. He declared that he was humiliated before his brother, for Joseph to be used as the element of righteousness in his stead. And he left from before the altar in the midst of the prayers of his father, which thing is an abomination before Yahweh. He got mad. He did the same thing Cain did. And it came to pass that when the ceremony was completed, Israel unfolded unto his sons all of his visions before the rock of witness. That's Messiah. The rock. The faithful witness. The first creation of we're going to call God. To come forth among them and their children, so they could be a holy nation before Yahweh. And he rehearsed unto them that it was the plan of Summarily to break them up and scatter them abroad, to prevent Messiah from being born among the people of the holy nation. That's why the line vision is Israel is from every nation. Israel is from every nation, but wherever they were scattered. The people that were scattered is Israel, not the rest of the people. And many things did their father exhort unto them before the altar. And he called Dan unto repentance and beseeched him to cling unto the vision of his created purpose. Stop worrying about who's the last prophet. Just cling to the vision of your created purpose. And that by doing this, he may yet find happiness, to be numbered with his children among the people of a holy nation. but Dan would not. And it came to pass in the days that followed, the contention grew among the brethren of Joseph, insomuch that their father found a need to send them away into far pastures to tend the flocks. But Joseph and Benjamin he kept by his side. And Israel prayed for forgiveness before Yahweh, as he feared that he had sinned. For in his vision he had seen 12 faces, but he had only used 11 sons as the element of righteousness. And thus he grieved, supposing he was the cause of so great contention among his sons. And the women of his household mourned with him. And Bilhah, the mother of Dan, refused to be comforted. Now, quote unquote, Negro women, what's wrong with my son? Your son wicked. And it came to pass that Israel prayed for the Almighty to forgive him. And Yahweh spoke to him and told him to be comforted. Israel could see that his use of element had been pleasing unto Yahweh, as Yahweh forbids jealousy and sin to come before the altar. Thus Dan was rightly held back. And Aki saw that Adam held back in like manner and did not use Cain when Jerusalem was first called forth. And that same night, Joseph dreamed a dream. And in the dream, Yahweh rehearsed unto him all the visions of his father and told him that it was his brethren, and told him if his brethren did not repent to reverse righteousness, and if Dan did not turn and embrace the vision of his created purpose, Summarily may be overpowered to destroy the vision and purpose of a holy nation, or may be empowered. Summarily may be empowered to destroy the vision and purpose of a holy nation into which Messiah could be born. And it would come to pass that Joseph would rule over his brethren. Another prophetic promise of the destiny of Joseph. And it would come to pass that Joseph would rule over his brethren, and many of the children of his father would be scattered abroad. And when his brethren returned from their flocks, he told the dream, and contention grew among them. I'm gonna be honest with you. I told the dream about me owning One Step Ahead detective agency, and the Danites came out in the church that I used to go to. And it would come to pass that Joseph would rule over his brethren. That's what they feared. And many of the children of his father would be scattered abroad, and when his brethren returned from their flocks, he told the dream, and contention grew among them. And Joseph repented before Yahweh for having dreamed the dream. Behold, that night he dreamed a dream the second time like unto it. Same thing I had a dream. Told you the truth. I had a dream that the Most High was going to give me $5 million. And he gave me recurring dreams. And I said, how's that going to happen? I'm winning the lottery? And behold, that night he dreamed a dream the second time, like unto it. And he rehearsed it unto his father, Israel, began to fear for his son, should it come again unto the ears of his brethren. So he sent them away again. See, now King is starting to see why the Most High was scattering Israel. So he sent them away again, this time unto a far pasture for the season. But Joseph and Benjamin he kept by his side. And thus it was in this way that their father dwelt through the season of pasture, and they stood in danger of brigands and with their men in far pastures. And it came to pass when the men returned home, the contention seemed to have passed, and Israel was comforted. And when their seasons of pastures came again, the sons of Israel were desirous to return unto the far pastures, as there was much grass there and water. And they remained again for the season. And it came to pass that Israel began to be lonesome for his sons. Same way the Most High is lonesome for his sons. That's why he was reestablishing his image in the earth and his word, so that he can establish a place that he can come and dwell among his sons. And it came to pass that Israel began to be lonesome for his sons. And it seemed that they delayed their return at the end of the season of pasture. And he sent Joseph out to seek after their welfare. As Joseph arrived to the place where they were, his brother beheld him approaching. And he knew him by his coat of many colors. And Dan rose up in anger and prepared to meet his brother to slay him. For he supposed he approached to act as their overseer, but Reuben, the builder of the family of Yahweh, could not bear such violence upon the beloved of his father. And he restrained him. And his brethren went out to meet him and took hold of him and cast him into a pit to protect him from the hand of Dan. And it came to pass that Judah and Naphtali persuaded some of their brethren to take Dan with them to water the sheep. And they gave their words that they would take care to see that Joseph would be there upon their return. Now Dan was content, for he supposed they meant to kill him in his absence. But while he was away, Judah and Naphtali espied a caravan approaching and determined to sell Joseph. And later go and buy him back unto their father as soon as the anger of Dan passed. So according to this story, Judah was the one that sold us into slavery. Judah should no longer. Well, how do you go? Let's go. I'm just putting a story together. Isaiah 11:13. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. First Aki 3 and 104. Now Dan was content, for he supposed they meant to kill him in his absence. But while he was away, Judah and Naphtali espied a caravan approaching and determined to sell Joseph, and later go and buy him back unto their father as soon as anger of Dan passed. And it came to pass that they lifted Joseph out of the pit. And as they bound him, Joseph exclaimed, "What is this that you do?" And Judah said, "We must sell you to save your life." And Joseph looked into the eyes of Judah and cried, "What of the vision of our father of a holy nation?" And the thing pierced the heart of Judah, and they sold Joseph. And it came to pass when Dan and his brother returned and discovered that Joseph had been sold instead of slain, Dan was wroth. And he declared that if a man should make this thing known unto their father, he would be slain. So now Dan's threatening the rest of his brother. And the anger of Dan was great. And they all gave their word that they would never disclose unto their father that Joseph was sold. Well, by necessity, the Roman Catholic Pope had to break that covenant of what that they lied about, the Europeans, Japheth and Esau, tell us that we're free by necessity. And it came to pass when Dan and his brother returned and discovered that Joseph had been sold instead of slain, Dan was wroth, and declared that if any man shall make this thing known, same thing that the nations that were confederate against us made the same promise they gave, that if any man shall make this thing known unto their father, he would be slain. That's why they were confederate against us, to keep us not knowing who we are, and although they knew who we are. So I told you that Roman Catholic Pope, who was the head, gave the full disclosure of who we are by necessity. And the anger of Dan was great, and they all gave him their word that they would never disclose unto their father that Joseph was sold. And it came to pass that Dan took a kid and killed it in his fury. He rent the coat of many colors and put the blood of it in anger, and required that they deliver it up unto their father. And the coat of many colors that was used before the altar was an element of righteousness to show forth the surety of the birth of Messiah among their people. Became the mark of their word to lie and to not disclose the truth. See, they still lying. Some of the coat of many colors represent all nations of the earth. And thus Dan became content, for he knew that he should of his father come to know concerning the matter. He would be compelled to also journey with all his brethren into the land of their far country in search of Joseph. And Dan was also bitter, since Reuben would get the inheritance after the manner of Methuselah, and it would profit him nothing to proceed into a strange land. And thus Joseph, taken bound into the land of a far country, and he was handled like unto one of their cattle, having no hope of rescue. And it came to pass that Joseph was thrown bound upon the sand among the beasts of burden, to the rest for the night. And Joseph wept, for his heart was bound up with the soul of his father. And he cried out all the night in agony over the loss of the vision of his father. Each night after travailing, it would be thus for him, and he would weep in the night over the vision of his father. And it came to pass that 3 nights passed in this way for Joseph. In the evening of the 4th night, Summarily came before him and mocked him, and declared that now Messiah could not be born upon the earth in the flesh, as there would be no holy nation. You even have, I got to tell you, I heard the prophet say that what's so special about Israel? You only called to be a light to the rest of the world, which is a lie. Supposed to be a light to your brethren, the lost sheep. In the other nations, the light is the matter. The light really is that the truth of the word. However it shines, that's the light. Now, and I also heard a prophet say that he's not coming back for Israel. That's a lie. If he ain't coming back for his family, who he coming back for then? I gotta tell you, you ain't gotta worry about people claiming to be this or that. The word will show who's who. And it came to pass that 3 nights passed in the way for Joseph. In the evening of the 4th night, Summarily came before him and mocked him and declared that now Messiah could not be born upon the earth in the flesh, as there would be no holy nation. For now the family of heel grabber, the family of Jacob, remember, he grabbed Esau. See, it's mentioning Esau without mentioning Esau. For now the family of Jacob, but now the family of heel grabber, because he came out, he grabbed the heel of Esau, will be scattered among the people of the land, and Joseph cried out for deliverance. And it came to pass in the midst of his despair that Yahweh appeared unto him. And he gently knelt down beside him and loosed his bonds. And he said, I'm going to use the term God. I am the God of your fathers, my little son. Arise and pray whatsoever you will, and it shall be done even as you speak. For I have committed the vision of your father unto your hands, and you shall be like unto your father Abraham before me. So fear not to go into this far country, but be of good cheer, for I will go before you. And all things shall be accomplished according to the vision of your father. And Joseph was comforted and slept soundly the remainder of the night. And it came to pass that in the morning Joseph was up early and set himself up about the task of watering the animals. Watering the animals. Now let's go into the spiritual. He was over the living waters. He's giving them the living water and seeing to their care. And when the merchants awoke, they were astonished to see that he was not bound and happily tending to the care of their animals. And they said among themselves, this is no ordinary slave. He will fetch a handsome price. It was in this way that when they arrived in the far country and camped at their usual place among the shipmen of the river, they beheld him back from selling him and took him near unto the house of the king. And there all men could behold his willing countenance, and they were well pleased with him. And it came to pass that Joseph was bought by a servant of the king, and Joseph was a willing worker. And he prayed for the house of his master and the welfare of all his doings. And he put a blessing upon his house, he being a priest of the Most High power. And it was because of this that all things under the hand of his master prospered. And Joseph waited upon Yahweh for him to reveal unto him the manner in which the vision of his father would be accomplished. See, only thing, I'm going to tell you the truth though. Only thing different between us and Joseph right here. See, Joseph already went through all of this. We're the part of Joseph that's reigning. We're not here to come serve our master, except the master of heaven. We're the part of Joseph's life that Joseph didn't get a chance to live out. We're still him. But we're the priests and kings that shall reign forever and ever and ever. Amen. And it was because of this that all things under the hand of his master prospered, and Joseph waited upon Yahweh for him to reveal unto him the manner in which the vision of his father would be accomplished. Now Summarily knew that Joseph was a high priest after the manner of the holy order of Melchizedek. Do you see who you are? And he greatly feared that he would use the element of righteousness, and by his cunning, by the hand of those who would give heed unto his words, Summarily conspired to put Joseph into a position to be cast into prison. And it was in this way that he sought to deprive him of his use of any element, and thus could evil accomplish their design against him, in spite of the blessings upon the house of his master. But Joseph was not afraid, for he knew that Yahweh would abide by his word to him. And Joseph repented of all his sins continually. And he prayed for all those who were in prison with him. He prayed for his keeper. And he healed him in his sickness. And he caused contention to pass from among those before him, who were under the care of his keeper. And they all were content. Now this thing went against the plan of Summarily, for he had seen Joseph go from being favored son of a free man into being a slave. See, Joseph was already free, but through the plans of Satan caused him to be a slave. But the Most High, that was his purpose the whole time. Why? To save all Israel. And from being a slave into becoming a lowly prisoner. And it was his intent to have Joseph killed in prison during the times of contention. But the prayers of this kind young man brought peace. In this way were the plans of Summarily frustrated, and his evil intentions against the vision of Israel were brought to nothing before the prayers of a high priest. And it came to pass during the course of those days that as Joseph was calling upon the name of Yahweh, that Yahweh drew near unto him in the night. And Yahweh rehearsed unto him a ceremony that he must do, using the element of righteousness to call forth great drought upon the land. Thus would all the house of his father be brought together in this far country, unto the fulfilling of all the vision of his father. And Summarily rejoiced, as there was no element of righteousness before the face of Joseph. But Joseph put his trust in Yahweh. His faith did not waver, and he overcame the taunts of Summarily. And he prayed before Yahweh that he would deliver the element of righteousness into his hands. And now Joseph was known to be mild and good and of a happy countenance, but for all who knew him in prison. And it came to pass that a young lad was cast into prison for a short time for some mischief, and he was afraid. And he came to be cared for by Joseph in order to comfort the lad. And in those days, the mother of the lad visited him weeping. And she brought him a bunch of flowers from the banks of the river. And the flowers comforted him. So Joseph dried the flowers and saved them for him. And one day the mother of the lad came for him, and he was released unto her arms. But Joseph had the flowers. When he beheld them, he discovered that they were Nahokas flowers, the very ones that his father had rehearsed unto. They're upon the water tablets of Noah. Notice at the bottom, Nakus means the throne of a mighty one. And he carefully saved them unto his bosom. See, the Most High carefully saves us unto his bosom too. And it came to pass that Joseph inquired of Yahweh, and Yahweh revealed unto him the manner in which he must use the flowers as the element of righteousness. And Yahweh again told him to call forth a great drought upon the land, and thereby the household of his father will be brought into the land and established as a nation. And it came to pass that Joseph, he being a priest of the Most High Power, using some crumbs of a meal that fell by the wayside. It's only required that you give some crumbs. At the millstone of the prison and using the flowers, he performed the ceremony in prison by himself. And he called forth the Erkadashah and entrusted them according to the words of Yahweh. And the millstones of the prisons were his altar and his rocks of witness. Thus by small means are the great doings of Yahweh accomplished, and Summarily is seen to be nothing before the face of elements of righteousness under the hand of one who is always in the midst of repentance. I can go on because this is a wonderful story, but I still got to get to the rest of the lesson of the story. I'm going to go to Genesis chapter 50, the Northern Kingdom version. The header reads, Jacob's body is embalmed. Joseph buries him in Canaan. Joseph comforts his brothers. The children of Israel multiply. Joseph promises that Yahweh will bring Israel out of Egypt into Canaan. Joseph dies in Egypt and is embalmed. Verse 1. And Joseph, Genesis 46:4, I will go down with you into Egypt, and I will also surely bring you up again. And Joseph shall put his hand upon your eyes. And Joseph fell upon his father's face and wept upon him and kissed him. Doctrine and Covenants 42:45-46. You shall live together in love, insomuch that you shall weep for the loss of them that die. Get a little bit of this. And more especially for those that have not hope of a glorious resurrection. You shall live together in love, insomuch that you should weep for the loss of them that die, and more especially for those. He said, when you're weeping for those who die, you should weep more especially for those that have not a hope of glorious resurrection. The ones the Most High was talking about yesterday in the message. Those are the ones you're really supposed to weep for. And it shall come to pass that those that die in me shall not taste of death, for it shall be sweet unto them. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians. Now Joseph doing a lot of commanding. He got physicians he commanded to embalm his father. Genesis 50 and 26. So Joseph died being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. And the physicians embalmed Israel. And 40 days were fulfilled for him, for so are fulfilled the days of those which are embalmed. And the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. And when the days of his mourning were past, Joseph spake unto the house of Pharaoh, saying, if now I have found grace in your eyes, speak, I pray you, in the ears of Pharaoh, saying, my father, that's why the Most High says in the sealed portion, command them in righteousness. So command them in righteousness, meaning according to his word, to give you everything that you need to sustain your lives free. Because he already paid the price. They already got it. They already got everything that can give you free. That's just them, because you don't lack of knowledge. They were still trying to steal from you. And when the days of his mourning were past, Joseph spake unto the house of Pharaoh, saying, if now I have found grace in your eyes, and that's what I was speaking to them. Because why was I speaking to them? Because they gave me the knowledge to speak to them like that. Now I'm speaking to them in righteousness, in good faith. If now I have found grace in your eyes, speak, I pray you, in the ears of Pharaoh, saying, my father made me swear, saying, lo, I die in my grave. Genesis 47 and 30, but I will lie with my fathers, and you shall carry me out of Egypt and bear me in their burying place. And he said, I will do as you have said. 2 Nephi 1 and 14. Awake and arise from the dust, and hear the words of a trembling parent, whose limbs you must soon lay down in the cold and silent grave, from whence no traveler can return. A few more days, and I go the way of all the earth, which I have digged for me in the land of Canaan. There shall you bury me. Now therefore let me go up, I pray you, and bury my father, and I will come again. And Pharaoh said, go up and bury your father according as he had made you swear. And Joseph went up to bury his father. And with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt. And all the house of Joseph and his brethren and his father's house. Only their little ones and their flocks and their herds they left in the land of Goshen. And you shall dwell in the land of Goshen, and you shall be near unto me, you and your children and your children's children and your flocks and your herds and all that you have. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a great company. They was with him. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond Jordan, and there they mourned with great lamentation. Alma 28:12. While many thousands of others truly mourn for the loss of their kindred. Yet they rejoice and exult in the hope, and even know, according to the promises of Yahweh, that they are raised to dwell at the right hand of the Most High, in a state of never-ending happiness. He's telling you right here, even if it's your kindred. We dispelling the lie. And he made a mourning for his father 7 days. Job 2:13. So they sat down with him upon the ground 7 days and 7 nights, and none spake a word unto him, for they saw his grief was very great. And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, this is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians. Therefore the name of it was called Abel Mizraim, which is beyond Jordan. The mourning of the Egyptians. For his sons carried him into the land of Canaan and buried him in a cave of the field of Machpelah, which Abraham bought with the field for a possession. Genesis 49:29. And he charged them, and he said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephraim the Hittite. With the field of a possession of a burying place. Genesis 25:10. In the field which Abraham purchased of the sons of Heth, there was Abraham buried, and Sarah his wife. Just telling you a story of all these family members buried at the same place. Of Ephraim, the Hittite before Mamre. Genesis 23:17. In the field of Ephraim, which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, the field and the cave, which was therein, all the trees that were in the field, that were in all of the borders round about, were made sure. And Joseph returned unto Egypt. And you devils, I rebuke your frequencies that you're trying to use against me. Can't stop me. With the people all around me sending frequencies at me and my head and all that stuff. I rebuke you, you devils. And Joseph returned unto Egypt, he and his brethren, and all that went up with him to bury his father after he had buried his father. And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, Joseph will peradventure hate us, and will certainly requite us all the evil which we did unto him. Joseph. If Joseph bears a grudge against us, he will certainly repay us. And they sent a message unto Joseph, saying, Your father did command before he died, saying, So shall you say unto Joseph, Forgive, I pray you now, the trespass of your brethren and their sins. For they did unto you evil. Forgiveness. Joseph wept when they spake unto him. Mormon 2:12. And it came to pass that when I, Mormon, saw their lamentation, and their mourning and their sorrow before Yahweh, my heart did begin to rejoice within me, knowing the mercies and the long suffering of Yahweh, therefore supposing that he would be merciful unto them, that they again become a righteous people. Doctrine and Covenants 18:14-16. Wherefore you are called to cry repentance unto this people. And if it so be that you should labor all your days in crying repentance unto this people and bring, that's what he wants to do. That's your calling. Save it be one soul unto me. He said, if you should cry all your days, telling the people to repent of your brother, and his Savior be but one soul unto me, how great shall be your joy with him in the kingdom of the Father. He said, this is one soul. And now if your joy will be great with one soul that you have brought unto me into the kingdom of my Father. See, that's what the church try to do. The church, see, they use everything that the Father does only for their profit and not a prophet. I mean, not a prophet, but a prophet. They say if you can just bring one soul here, we can get some tithes out of it. But the Father said, if you can just bring one soul into my kingdom. And now if your joy will be great with one soul that you have brought into me, into the kingdom of our Father, how great will your joy if you should bring many souls unto me. And now we pray you forgive the trespass of the servants of the Almighty your Father. And Joseph wept when they spake unto him. And his brethren also went and fell down before his face. And they said, Behold, we be your servants. Genesis 37:5-11. And Joseph dreamed a dream. And he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. And he said to them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood around about and made obeisances to my sheaf. And his brethren said unto him, Shall you indeed reign over us? Or shall you indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dream and for his words. And he dreamed yet another dream and told his brethren and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and even the stars made obeisances unto me. And he told it to his father and his brethren. And his father rebuked him and said unto him, What is this dream that you have dreamed? Shall I and your mother and your brethren indeed come and bow down ourselves unto you to this earth? And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the same. And Joseph said to them, Fear not, for I am in the place of God. Use the term. Most High put him in the place of God to it. But as for you, you thought evil against me. evil. But Yahweh meant it unto good. Genesis 45:5. Now therefore be not grieved nor angry with yourselves that you sold me hither. For Yahweh did send me before you to preserve life. Doctrine and Covenants 115. Chapter 100, verse 15. Therefore let your heart be comforted. For all things shall work together for good to them that walk uprightly, and to the sanctification of the church, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive. Now therefore fear ye not, I will nourish you. Family, love within family. Now therefore fear ye not, I will nourish you, love within family, and your little ones. And he comforted them, and he spake kindly unto them. And Joseph dwelt in Egypt. Israel, Joseph, people of Israel, Joseph. He in his father's house. See, he was sold into Egypt, but Joseph was an Israelite dwelling in Egypt, which caused all of his family to come to Egypt. That's why the Most High is calling all of Israel to America, to the new promised land, New Jerusalem. And Joseph lived 110 years. And Joseph saw Ephraim's children of the third generation. Patriarch. The children also of Machir, the son of Manasseh, were brought up upon Joseph's knees. Numbers 32 and 39. And the children of Machir, the son of Manasseh, went to Gilead and took it, and disposed the Amorites which was in it, and dispossessed the Amorite which was in it. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I die, and Yahweh will surely visit you. Northern Kingdom's testimony, Genesis 50, 24 through 38. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I die and go unto my fathers, and I go down to my grave with joy. And Yahweh of my father Jacob be with you, to deliver you out of afflictions in the days of your bondage. For Yahweh has visited me, and I've obtained the promise of Yahweh, that out of the fruit of my loins, Yahweh the Almighty will raise up a righteous branch out of my loins. And unto you whom my father Jacob has named Israel, a prophet. Not the Messiah who is called Shiloh. And this prophet, see, he's not talking about Jesus Christ right here. That's the term that people use. Yahawahshi. This prophet shall deliver my people out of Egypt in the days of your bondage. It shall come to pass that they shall be scattered again, and a branch shall be broken off. He's talking about Ephraim. And shall be carried into a far country. Nevertheless, they shall be remembered in the covenants of Yahweh. See, that's talking about the people that was not a people. But the Most High said, go get the lost sheep so I can bring them back to the covenant, because they included. When Messiah cometh, for he shall be made manifest unto them in the latter days, in the spirit of power, and shall bring them out of darkness into the light, out of hidden darkness, out of captivity into freedom. A seer shall Yahawah, my power, raise up, who shall choice seer unto the fruit of my loins. Thus says Yahawah, the highest power of my fathers unto me. A choice seer will I raise up out of the fruit of your loins, and he shall be esteemed highly among the fruit of your loins. And to him will I give commandment that he shall do a work for the fruit of your loins, his brethren. And he shall bring them to the knowledge of the covenants which I have made with your fathers. And he shall do whatsoever work I shall command. And I will make him great in your eyes, in my eyes. For he shall do my work. And he shall be great like unto him whom I have said I would raise up unto you, to deliver my people, O house of Israel, out of the land of Egypt. For a seer will I raise up to deliver my people out of the land of Egypt, and he shall be called Moses. And by his name he shall know that he is of your house. For he shall be nursed by the king's daughter, and she be called her son. And again, a seer will I raise up out of the fruit of your loins. And unto him will I give power to bring forth my words unto the seed of your loins. And not to bring forth my words only, says Yahawah, but to the convention of them my word, which have already gone forth among them in the last days. See, Joseph Smith had already gone for us in the last days to bring forth this word. Now he's talking about somebody else during our time. Wherefore the fruit of your loins shall write, and the fruit of the loins of Judah shall write, and that which shall be written by the fruit of your loins, and also that shall be written by the fruit of the loins of Judah, shall grow together into confounding of false doctrine. That's what we're doing right now. And laying down contention and establishing peace among the fruit of your loins. That's why he was telling you to stop worrying about who's the greatest. Just do your job. And bring them to the knowledge of their fathers in the latter days, and also to the knowledge of my covenants, says Yahawah. And out of weakness shall he be made strong, in that day when my work shall go forth among all my people, which shall restore them, who are of the house of Israel in the last days. And that seer will I bless, and they that seek to destroy him shall be confounded. For this promise I give unto you, for I will remember you from generation to generation, and his name shall be called Joseph. And it shall be after the name of his father. And he shall be likened to you. The last prophet name is Joseph. And he was talking about Joseph Smith. Because he already told you that Joseph Smith was not to establish a church. He was only to bring forth that part of, he was supposed to pass the baton to another Joseph. That's going to run the last leg of the race. And it shall be after the name of his father, and he shall be likened unto you. For the thing which Yahawah shall bring forth by the hand shall bring my people unto salvation. And Yahweh sware unto Joseph that he would preserve his seed forever, saying, I will raise up Moses, and a rod shall be in his hand, and he shall gather my people, and he shall lead them as a flock, and he shall smite the waters of the Red Sea with his rod. And he shall have judgment, and shall write the word of Yahweh, and he shall not speak many words, for I will write unto him my law by the finger of my own hand. And I will make a spokesman for him, and his name shall be called Aaron. And it shall be done unto you in the last days, even as I have sworn. Therefore Joseph said unto his brethren, the Almighty will surely visit you and bring you out of the land unto the land he swore unto Abraham, and unto Isaac, and unto Jacob. And Joseph confirmed many other things unto his brethren, and he took the oath of the children of Israel, saying to them, the Almighty will surely visit you, and he shall carry up my bones from thence. So Joseph died when he was 110 years old, and they embalmed him and put him in a coffin in Egypt. And he was kept from burial by the children of Israel, that he might be carried up and laid in the sepulchre with his father. And they remembered the oath which they sware unto him. And Joseph said unto his children, I die, I go, and God will surely visit you and bring you out of this land, the bondage of Egypt, Israel, the bondage of Israel in Egypt. And will surely bring you out of this land into the land promised lands, which he swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Sealed portion, chapter 81, verse 41. But in the beginning it was not so. Now shown unto you that the record of my father shall come forth unto Joseph, and he shall translate that part which is unsealed and publish it to the world, so that all might know of the work of the Father which was wrought upon the land of Eden, which is this promised land, which should be called in the latter days the United States of America. So there's a Joseph that's prophesying right now about everything I'm reading to you about this promised land. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm an American Israelite. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I die, and Yahweh will surely visit you and bring you out of this land unto America, which he swore to Abraham and to Isaac and to Jacob. And Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel, saying, Yahweh will surely visit you, and he will carry up my bones from thence. And the time drew nigh that Israel must die. Talking about Jacob. And he called his son Joseph, and said to him, if now I have found grace in your sight, put, I pray you, your hand under my thigh, and deal kindly and truly with me. Bury me not, I pray you, in Egypt. Exodus 13:19. And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for he had straitly sworn the children of Israel, saying, Yahweh will surely visit you, and you should carry up my bones away hence with you. Joshua 24:32. And the bones of Joseph, which the children of Israel brought up out of Egypt, buried they in Shechem, in a parcel of ground which Jacob bought of the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, for 100 pieces of silver. And it became the inheritance of the children of Joseph. So Joseph, Genesis 41, 46 to 47, and 54. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh and went through all the land of Egypt. And in the 7 plenteous years, the earth brought forth by a handful. And the 7 years of dearth began to come, according as Joseph had said. And the dearth was in all the lands, but in all of the land Egypt was their bread. Joseph died, being 110 years old. Exodus 1 and 6. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation, being 110 years old, and they embalmed him. Genesis 50 and 2. And Joseph commanded his servant, the physicians, to embalm his father, and the physicians embalmed Israel. And he was put in a coffin in Egypt. Well, I'm going to end part 1 right there, and I'm going to come back. Most I say the same, and I'm not going to say much. I'm just going to continue where I left off with scripture. So if you don't catch this, you'll probably have to come back to part 1 if you watch part 2. So all praises to the Most High. All praises to his holy name. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, for we are rule of our oppressors. Thy will be done, as it is in heaven. All praises to our great King.